2. Now we wait for everybody else. We're going to go back to playing pinball.
Good stuff.
Good.
I'm gonna go crash some cars.
You're going to crash some cars?
Yeah.
Hello? What are you playing?
Playing BeamNG Drive. Did someone join?
Yes, I did. Hello.
Hey! I'm playing pinball while we wait for Xavier. I give up. It's upsetting me too much. I'm getting too upset. We're doing a different video today because I wanna. So we're doing a different thing. We're talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. So obviously I'm here. Xavier might be dead. We don't know where he's at. Jamie, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Jameson, also known as Basket Case 02. Also, there should not be a space in between Basket Case and 02.
I know it's supposed to be an underscore, but it looked uggy.
It's technically, in most iterations, it's all one word. I digress.
Anyway, Olivia, would you like to make an introduction?
I'm Olivia.
She watches all these videos. These videos are for her. King shit. Well, alright. Chapter 1. Do you guys like my presentation so far?
This is great.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you, thank you. Alright, do you guys have the document pulled up?
Yeah, that's a good thing. We should probably do that.
Yeah, I only sent you the document specifically for this purpose. Does anyone have any thoughts they have on chapter 1 that they would like to share before we go to the guide questions I made?
Cowboys.
Alright, you know what? Let's just go to the next thing. Hold on, this is the only part of the video where we have a sound effect. Okay.
Why?
It was really hard to do that. So the first question I have, in Old Friends, we see Arthur remind Dutch that he believes revenge is a luxury they cannot afford. In what ways does Dutch forget this? This is open-ended, so just whenever you think of an answer. And if you want me to start, I can as well.
You should probably start.
You two nervous little bitches! So I guess kind of the big one is, especially towards the end, he decides that everyone who has ever wronged him is going to be personally smited, like Cornwall and everyone else. Cornwall is the only one that immediately came to mind. Also Colm pisses him off, Bronte pisses him off, everyone and their mom pisses him off, John pisses him off. Kind of just anyone who has ever upset this man, he has decided is actually going to get revenged.
That's true. To be fair,
Yeah.
I feel like Dutch forgets anything he has ever told or advised on.
That is so true. You were so right.
He really does.
In the questions for the section right there, just be like, this guy will not listen.
Yeah, he really doesn't. Hold on, let me... Alright, number 2. Wait, does anyone have any more thoughts on number 1 they want to share?
I don't think so.
No, I bet Xavier would have some good insights.
I bet he would. I bet he fucking would, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
No. I just texted him again, though. Alright, number 2. Number 2! Dutch is said to have killed a girl, quote, in a bad way. While some people believe that Dutch goes insane after the trolley incident in Chapter 4, others believe it was during or before Blackwater. What do you guys think?
Sydney, you should start us off.
Xavier just texted me. My head feels like it's about to explode. No! Heartbreaking.
So this question was about the trolley problem?
Uh,
Is that it?
Not quite. I love the enthusiasm. It was, when do you think he sort of, like, goes off the rails?
Oh, well, to answer that, you really have to ask the question, was he ever on the rails?
I mean, we have to assume that he was to some degree, I feel like. This comes up in a later question. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Yeah, this is kind of related to the next question where Hosea kind of loses his shit. But do you guys want me to do voices for it? Would that make you feel better? Do you want me to do voices?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna kind of make him sound like Squidward because he got Squidward vibes to it.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna elaborate. I'm not good at accents. This is what you guys wanted. I want everyone in the comments to comment about how this is what they wanted, and if they disagree, to shoot them. Listen, try to stop Dutch from getting you all. Wait, hold on, I can't fucking read this. My fingers and my eyeballs. This is a little hard to do. Listen, try to stop Dutch from getting all of you killed, because I'm about beginning to think he's finally lost his mind. And who would if we stopped doing all this? I don't know. I never knew. Guess I could never figure that out neither. So, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys.
That was good. I want a whole video of just that. You summarizing the plot with the voices. Like,
no! Anyway, since we see that at least Hosea and kind of everyone else is rattled after Blackwater and they refuse to kind of talk about the incident with Heidi McCourt, a lot of people believe that because he was sort of doing the, like, killing people without any real justified reason, and although technically it is theorized that in the next game there is a part that sort of mirrors that, however, it's not confirmed, and Olivia, you're not there yet, so you don't get to know yet. But
hold on a second. I don't know this.
yeah, no, it's in the next game. I might be able to pull up the clip if you guys want to see it, and I can give you just no context for it, but I gotta step one find one that doesn't have spoilers. Shut up, we're having movie time. Movie time! Everyone, shut up, it's movie time!
Jamie's being Darth Vader.
Jamie's being Darth Vader during movie time? Outrageous. Hold on, it's really trying. It's really trying. Okay, there we go, we're back! No, we gotta watch Best Buy! I can't skip it! Oh wait, there we go, I can! Shut up! Hold on, let's skip forward, because this is taking too fucking long! Alright, so that was our free preview of things that I will not explain enough for you to understand what's happening. Oh, son of a bitch, this thing is not loading fast. But that is theorized to be what is sort of reminiscent of what happened in Blackwater, because everyone was, like, refusing to talk about it, and they were just like, something went wrong. It's all good, though.
Well, I mean, I feel like like, at least the characters in the world appear to, mention the change, or at the very least an adjustment to how things are going after Blackwater. Therefore, that would lead me to assume Blackwater was the defining incident in this situation.
Olivia, what do you think?
I don't know. Look, man, I am functioning on 4% of my brain right now. I don't know. That's kind of when he really started to, like fly off the tracks. Wow, that was great.
Funny man. Funny man. Whoa! Wait. Sorry, I almost knocked my chair over. Anyway, continuing on. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so yeah, like that's definitely when he like totally started to fly off the track, but like yeah, that was like definitely like the event I think that did it, but like definitely like I don't know, I feel like he was kind of starting to head that way, like kind of.
I see your vision. Okay, so slight difference, I guess, and also slight adjustment to the question. Why do I guess for number 3, since we see that only Hosea really sees this sort of major change of Dutch kind of going apeshit, and everyone else is just like, huh, that was weird. What do you think everyone else was sort of trying to chalk it up to in their mind to copium their way out of it?
Yeah. Well, that's an excellent question there.
Thank
I
you,
feel
thank
like
you.
you can really boil that down to just the human capacity for like coping in general. Everyone copes in different ways, right? And I feel like a lot of these people had all done things, that they weren't too proud of, right? But as you mentioned, right, back in the good old days, they had a code, right? They were doing it for something.
hmm
And I feel like they all had to ignore like these changes, and maybe even it's just the changes were so gradual they didn't notice that they were happening until it was too late.
hmm
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, like maybe they were also trying to like going off that, like trying to like chalk it up to like, oh, it's probably nothing, or like just making excuses for it to like cope with it and not really realize that there's something actually going on, because maybe they didn't even want to realize there was something going on.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you should never underestimate the mind or the human mind's ability to ignore stuff.
I don't know why that was so long. Next up, we're on to chapter 2. Alright. Ignore the rice and the spaghetti bolognese. I didn't know what to do about that. So this is chapter 2. Does anyone have any general thoughts before we start my questions?
Oh boy!
Thank you, Jamie. You provide such excellent insights.
I do.
Alright, so in the middle, if you go into the roughly the middle of page 51, I will read this. I'm gonna read it in a Trump voice though, because I don't want to do accents.
That is an accent, though.
It is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I've never heard another human being with that accent. Are we ready for this? It's Mr. Miller, of course, an essay on the allegory of impotence. So the question the seeker of allegorical potency should ask himself, or indeed herself, if potency is itself not too masculine a concern for our sisters to be concerned with. I'm sorry. Is this? Is it in the seeking that we find, or in the finding that we seek? While this might seem a pathway towards an insanity, it is an important distinction, and also a clear one. He who finds things is wise, but he who continues to seek is ever more free. Ever more free. Is that the most magnificent one? Wait, hold on. That's this wonderful idea of all. And then Molly says, well, I guess it's quite pretty. He goes, pretty? It's magnificent, my dear. Magnificent. Ever more free. That's us. If we keep seeking, we will find freedom. Alright, so, philosophically, I hate this man, and I hate every single thing, that Dutch says ever on philosophy. However, the question of, is it in the seeking we find, or in the finding we seek, would anyone like to say what they think, that is it in the seeking we find, or in the finding that we seek?
Gotta understand what
have I lost you guys? Did the Trump voice lose you guys?
I'm sorry, I have to reread through it all. Pointing out the distinction between, like, I guess what you could say you hope to happen or you hope to find, and what actually does.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, nothing in life is perfect. You may hope that something will work out perfectly. It'll work out in just such a way that, everything will be happy and nice. But, life isn't like that. And I feel like it really emphasizes that. It summarizes it in the most confusing way possible.
It really does. It does it in a really confusing way. Every time I hear something of Miller, I absolutely hate him. I hate this man. He pisses me off. But his stupid thing of he who finds things is wise, but he who continues to seek is ever more free, and the Dutch being like, holy shit, that's us. Like, that's not at all the kind of answer that you should be getting from that. Like, in the seeking that like we find and in the finding we seek, you should sort of be sort of finding a sense of freedom, because they even say that like we're not finding things, we're seeking, and then we eventually might find things. And then as we see it sort of play out later, in seeking to be free, he kind of accidentally has the intention to kill both of his sons. And like that's kind of stupid. But if he had said, okay, we we have found our sense of freedom, let's like seek how to maintain it, I feel like it would have been not insane, and he would have seen through Micah's bullshit all the time and been like, hey, this is not a good idea. We shouldn't be constantly just acting like fucking prey animals and going apeshit.
Fair. That's fair, yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of hindsight.
This game is 80% hindsight. There's also the fucking newspaper article that I put in here somewhere, in the newspaper sections under... Hold on, where is it? It's one of the earlier ones. I'm gonna find it. The wife had like shot at the bandits, and then her young son Isaac had died in the incident. And I'm like, man, knowing what we know later, that's really on the nose. There's actually a lot, if you read through the newspaper, there's a lot of stories of like kids dying and stuff, and it's like really crazy how many times that like comes up all the time. Cause dead kid. what's a girl to do?
If we've learned anything from Breaking Bad, killing kids, that's funny.
That's what you learned from Breaking Bad?
Wow.
Jamie watched Breaking Bad and he's like, killing kids is fucking hilarious. This kind of applies to all chapters, but since it sort of starts in this one, and I hate the Red Dead fandom, a lot of people say that Mary uses Arthur because she only reaches out to him when she needs something. But do we think that it's true that that she's using him? What do you guys think? And if you want me to sound off first, I can.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? Wait, what? I totally missed that.
Okay, I'll sound off first. So a lot of people say that because Mary only reaches out to Arthur when she needs something, like when her brother accidentally joins a cult, or when her dad starts kind of being a piece of shit, or just all of the stuff that she is up to, and because she reaches out to him only to be like, hey, I need some help. Sorry, my bee, but like, can you help out? A lot of people are like, she doesn't really care about Arthur and she just needs sort of someone to do her dirty work. For me personally, I don't think it is. I think it's sort of the only way that she feels that she can connect to him, because he is kind of established, especially in their like last discussion, that he's like, I can't leave right now. Like, I'm kind of in the middle of something. Like, it's not a good time. Like, and I think that because you have the option to say no, and after that she just kind of lets it be, that we're able to see that, like, I don't think she's using Arthur. I think she just has it as, like, I need help. Here's someone who cares about me. And, like, I do think that she cares about him, at least to, like, some degree. Like, maybe not as much as she maybe used to, but, like, I think that she does sort of feel bad for how she kind of cut things off between them, but is also recognizing that, like, she's not cut out for his life, and he doesn't really have a way out of his, because in Chapter 2, when Arthur and Hosea are going out bear hunting, and Hosea's talking about how he left the gang to be with Bessie, and he's saying you can't really ever get out of this life, and I think that Arthur sort of realizes that, especially since, dead girlfriend, dead kid. I think he's kind of aware that, like, you don't really get out of this very easily. And I think that because we see that, like, he doesn't really have a way out, she knows that, like, this is a man who thrives on, like, minor acts of violence, and that for him this is sort of the only way that she can guarantee that he'll show up. Because if she was like, hey, I'm going out to dinner, you want to come with, he'd be like, nah, fuck off, I'm busy, I got things to do. But if it's like, hey, I need help, Arthur does seem to care about, like, actually helping people.
It's definitely true. I would say she definitely doesn't use him in any way. Like, he is legitimately just the person who in her life who she knows can be relied upon to do, like, certain things, and, like, relied upon to, like, show up when needed, kind of a deal. And I mean, I think you're absolutely right about, like, being an outlaw is, it's the classic story of you can never escape the life kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a lot of truth to it. Like once you're in that kind of life, even in real life, it's difficult to get out of like gangs or anything like that. And I always find stories that explore those themes very interesting.
In this chapter, we see the gang sort of as they normally are, and especially sort of how sort of in an ideal situation, how they sort of behave with each other. But sort of what kind of things do you notice from like later chapters that are like sort of only sort of their facade and like how they sort of want to be, but not really who they are?
Yeah. Well, I feel like anytime you're in the camp, like there is tension.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way the characters like all look around or watch like what you're doing or what other people are doing, or the way they talk or make remarks and stuff. Like I feel like there's a lot of like unreleased tension
Mm-hmm.
from everyone. Like everyone is definitely putting on a face to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it really like Rockstar did a good job of like demonstrating that just through like subtle hints and atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of like especially obvious, especially like later on, how like when things start getting tense, everyone kind of immediately picks sides. Javier is the only one that doesn't point his gun at Arthur and John because he still does care about them, but he's like conflicted because Dutch obviously saved him when he needed it, so he feels like he's obligated to help him. And he sort of also thinks that, at least to some degree, John might have been a rat, and so I think that him sort of being at that moment of like, these are people that I care about, but at the same time, they're not the ones who saved me, and like, I think that's sort of seeing that like everyone has conflicting feelings and that no one is willing to talk about them with each other and be like, hey, here's what's upsetting me, like, how do we move forward? And they just are like, well, there's enough of us, I'll just simply try to avoid them. And I think that's a really solid strategy that has no adverse consequences. But like, I think that's sort of them sort of not seeing how they like all ended up together and like, hey, we're all in the same situation, we gotta all work together, and like when shit starts going south, they just fucking play the blame game and start whipping out the blame thrower as opposed to like handling situations is not the best idea.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sydney,
Yes.
I am gonna be right back. I have to go to the bathroom and I want to get another beverage.
Alright, good luck. Good luck, have fun.
Kind of going off the thing that we were talking about on like everybody kind of like has like tension with someone, but everyone's like, I'll just avoid this person. It's just like everybody's pretending like, oh, it's all fine, but everybody is like also avoiding everybody, and it's just like that tension. That's what creates that tension. It's just like everybody's so avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what? Like you said, I think it was you that said like, oh, I have a problem, but I'm just gonna avoid this person and just like not talk to them.
Yeah,
like,
nah.
why would I do that?
Yeah,
So,
it's
like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's not
that they put on.
it's not ideal. It's not ideal, but you know what? Nevertheless, we persist. So in one of the newspapers, it is said that someone tipped off the chapter 2 oil or like the oil thing robbery where they did. Who do you think in your heart, to a reasonable degree, do you think would have ratted out John and Co. on their train robbing adventures?
Hold up, why am I not remembering this? Is this on the dock somewhere?
It is on the docks. We know for sure that the only people who were sort of directly involved were Arthur, John, Charles, and Sean. There's like a theory that I've seen that I really fucking hate, is that Abigail is the second rat, and they're like, oh, Abigail's, tipped off. I don't think it would be Abigail, because although at this point in the story, she still kind of wants to, like, kill John a little bit in her heart, she would not do anything to risk him because she's more just mad that he just, like, won't be a dad. And I think it would be kind of stupid of her to, like, get especially Arthur and Charles killed because those are the two, like, heavy hitters of the group, and I don't think that if she knew about the plot, I don't think she would be the one to be like, hey, here's what's going on. Whereas it's kind of hard to say what the, like, correct option is, because I don't know if you're required to have Micah out by that point. But
Yeah.
if, assuming you, like, let him out sort of as that becomes available, I don't think it's impossible, for reasons that I will discuss later. But it is sort of suspected that Micah was ratting out, at least maybe not to, like, the Pinkertons directly, but to different groups, because of the way that certain events transpire. Like, we see Blackwater was Micah's idea, it goes to shit. Sort of whenever Micah's involved, it kind of always goes to shit, unless it's, like, sort of a very specific Micah-only plan, or, like, a Micah and Arthur plan. Like, if he has the risk of being directly involved, he will not sort of risk it. But whenever it's, like, with Dutch and anyone else, it's, like, very obvious that, like, something else is going on. So I think that depending on...
so right.
Like, depending on when he's supposed to have technically let off, like, get out of prison, I think it might be him. It's kind of hard to say. It might also be the oil company having said, like, hey, but it's also, they said, like, there was, like, like a train robbery.
Uh-huh.
My only other theory would be Bill, because he hates John. But, like, at the same time, why would he sort of risk that?
I was gonna say, I don't think he'd risk that.
Because it's like you have everyone else at risk, and I don't think he would be so stupid as to do that. Like, he's an especially dumb character. He's a stupid man with poop stains on his clothes, but, like, I don't think he's that stupid to, like, risk all of them. Especially, like, Sean, because he'd been back for, like, a week. Oh, right! Chapter 3. Do you like my gif?
I do. It's me.
So true. It's also, the feeling of Chapter 3. If Jamie comes back, we'll ask him, and we will give him no sort of wind-up. Before we start, do you have any sort of thoughts and feelings on Chapter 3?
I don't think so, off the top of my head.
Swag money! Alright. So, in one of the missions, Dutch says that Arthur is like he goes, oh, you're like, I would say you're like a son to me, but you're more than that. And Arthur has that, like, really happy, like, I feel so seen look in his eyes. However, later on, when Arthur gets captured by Colm, it's kind of implied that, like, he never came looking. And why do you think Dutch might not have gone looking for Arthur?
Because Dutch is stupid?
Fair point. However, I think I think that you have a solid start, but I think that because when Arthur shows back up, Micah looks, like, so fucking peeved. I think that maybe Micah was like, let's just let him go. He just left because he doesn't believe in you. And sort of, when he shows up, Dutch realizes, oh, no, he actually, like, got captured and, like, fucking kidnapped and shit. And, like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like he's gone for a couple days. Like, it's not like he just disappears for an hour. Like, even if they got caught in the morning and it's nighttime when he escapes, like, that's an entire day that, like, why wouldn't he have just gone back to camp? You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of crazy. I think that's actually insane of Dutch to just be like, nah, because the whole plan, I mean, I guess it's kind of, in a way, better because Colm had captured him so that way he could capture Dutch. But I think it's kind of a stupid plan on Dutch to just be like, hey, he'll be fine, whatever. I'm enchanted by the dancing gorilla.
I'm, like, distracted by watching this.
The gorilla, its dance is so encapsulating. That's also the gorilla that I use in my videos sometimes. Large part, we start seeing more of the Micah influence, also because, hold on, I'll show it in this, it's in here. Micah picks that one spot that is so genuinely utter ass, and that, like, riverbed that, like, if it rains, it's gonna flood. It's in a low spot in, like, the middle of a valley so anyone could, like, attack them. I'm not sure if the O'Driscoll spots are technically canon or if those are just sort of like whatever. But there is one directly at the top of the hill next to it. Like, it's like the most uncovered spot ever, and, like, thankfully, Charles and Arthur have the, like, foresight to be like, hey, this is a bad spot. But just as we see Micah to, like, be who he is, and just kind of genuinely fucking stupid, I think he very easily could have just been like, hey, Dutch, let's let him go. He didn't believe in you. He's been doubting. He's been saying mean things. And then this motherfucker would be like, you're so right. How could I have not seen it?
Yeah, you're right. Well, and then Dutch is definitely the one who would like believe Micah if like Micah was like, oh yeah, like he just laughed, and Dutch would be like, okay.
He'd be like, he just doesn't get you, Dutch. He doesn't get you like I do. And Dutch would be like, you're so right. I'm so unique.
Yeah, you're about right.
Alright, Micah is seen to be much more heartless in this chapter, as I mentioned in the earlier section. There's a theory that Dutch planned to take down, or that Micah planned to take down Dutch from the beginning, especially because there is the letter from his brother where his brother's like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Never fucking contact me or talk to my family again. I will fucking kill you, Micah Bell, you son of a bitch. And everyone's kind of like, why did he reach out to his brother? Because we know that they used to be in a gang together before they split up, and it's not super clear why. But because we know that Micah's only in the gang because he saved Dutch, he kind of has that like, oh, I could easily like take this dude kind of vibe to him sort of all the time. I mean, I think that there is at least some evidence to like him sort of trying to corrupt Dutch and sort of like turn him in for himself and be like sort of taking out competition to make himself sort of the top dog in the area, or at least just kind of steal from him meticulously, because as we see, he kind of does everything he can to sort of isolate Dutch from the group, and sort of as the game progresses, Dutch progressively moves farther and farther away from everyone else, especially in camp, going from like in the center of camp to like the like middle of the action, and like to all the way off like next to the cave where nobody else is. And like I think that we are kind of able to see some like evidence of Micah sort of at least trying to pull him away from the group and sort of cause more infighting, because nobody likes him but Dutch. And I think that's sort of because we can see that like peace and love to Dutch, he is not as clever as he thinks he is, and like he's
not, no.
He's really not that clever. And I think that like to at least some extent Micah has like bad intentions being in the group. I don't think he's just like, hey, do you want to join this cool gang I found? And then his brother's like, nah, fuck you. I think it's like he's like, I have a plan. I got a plan, brother. What are your thoughts? What do you think about that?
Oh, this is a great question. Where is Jamie?
Jamie said he had to pee and then grab a beverage. Are you okay?
No.
Just the faint. What sort of bad vibes did you get from Micah when you were watching my videos?
I don't know, just the fact he always seemed like he was, I don't know, at least I would see, like, he always seemed like he was trying to start something.
He kind of always was. You're so right.
Yeah. Like, it didn't matter who it was. Dutch wanted to start some shit. And it didn't, like, again, it didn't even matter what it was, who it was. Like, he just gave me this bad vibes of, like, hey, did you see what this guy did? It's like, dude, no one fucking cares.
Bro is a professional rage baiter, and he's really good at it.
The first rage baiter?
The original rage baiter is Micah Bell. His voice actor, though, absolutely not. That man is just having the time of his life. Anyway, in the mission, The Battle of Shady Bell, I will read it for you. I will just read it normal style, so that way you don't get distracted like we did with the Trump impression. Just think about, is Milton correct? Here we go. I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is civilized land now. We didn't kill all them savages, racist, only to allow the likes of you to act like human dignity and basic decency was outmoded or not yet invented. This thing, it's done. This place ain't no such thing as civilized. It's man so in love with greed he has forgotten himself and foully appetites me when I memorize my philosophy book. And as a consequence that lets you take what you please, kill whom you please, and hang the rest of us, who made you the messiah to these lost souls you've led so horribly astray? I'm nothing but a seeker, Mr. Milton! I don't know what that accent is. I'm so sorry, everyone who... you ain't much more... Holy shit, I cannot read. You ain't much of anything more than a killer, Mr. Vanderlinde, but I came to make a deal. It's time. You come with me, and I give the rest of you 3 days to run off. Disappear and go live your life like human beings someplace else. I don't want to kill all these folks, Dutch, just you. Is he right that, like, Dutch is kind of sort of ignoring like, that there is some sort of structure to society at this point, and like he's just kind of doing whatever he pleases, and that because he's nothing more than a seeker, he's kind of just decided that he can kind of do whatever he wants.
Like, I don't know if I'm convinced that Dutch is really like smart enough.
I think he reads a lot of books, and I think that he thinks
he's the smartest person ever.
He really does, and it's so annoying when he quotes philosophy.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know, I feel like... I don't know, he thinks... I lost where I was going with that.
Dude, no, that's so fair. But I think that because Dutch has such a shit grasp on philosophy, like, this is clearly just something that he memorized, and then, like, the seeker thing from earlier. Like, I think that he has, like, forgotten that, like, there is a sort of structure to civilization that, like, granted, he doesn't really necessarily enjoy, and, like, I get that. Like, civilization does kind of suck at times. But there are sort of rules that we follow, and, like, granted, the government, obscenely corrupt, and sort of the, like, especially with all the monopolies like we have, like, with Cornwall and stuff, it is very hard to feel like that is civilized when you see how sort of just genuinely unhinged it is. And I think that him saying, it's man so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself, I think that when you see that, like, that's the same thing. Like, it's like when he says, oh, Cornwall, you're a killer, but you're mad at me because I'm a killer. It's like, no, he did it through the right ways. And granted, it doesn't make it any better. But, like, just because he does something wrong doesn't mean you get to do something wrong. And, like, I think that sort of being like, oh, well, I'm only greedy for the right reasons. Like, it doesn't make it better if you do something bad for the right reasons necessarily. Like, you still killed people. You still robbed people. And, like, granted, most of the time they're robbing from, like, banks and stuff. And I don't know if they had insurance at the time. But, like, there is some degree of, like, those people will be taken care of, but, like, they were giving money to, like, orphanages and, like, helping, you know, people who needed it, and I think that, like, if they were still doing that at this point, I think Milton would be wrong, because it's like, yes, they are doing the work that the government should be in charge of. Like, the government should have at least some responsibility to make sure its citizens are, like, functioning, and, like, helping out orphanages and soup kitchens and stuff, and, like, we see, like, the whole reason that Arthur gets TB is because he goes to Thomas Downs, who is broke, but, like, still trying to help other people, and, like, is it fair that, like, that happens? No, absolutely not, but, like, those are the kind of people that Dutch would originally help, and I think especially that he has Strauss in the camp collecting debts. Like, granted, I know it's to, like, make money, and, like, it's a side income, but, like, it's exploiting the exact people that Dutch claims to, like, help, and, like, that he had originally been helping. And I think that sort of by him just sort of acting like, well, you know, whatever, I do the best I can, like, the best you can isn't enough anymore. And, like, I think that because he has lost his way, I think that Milton is correct, that, like, he led them off the path, because it's not like they're doing vigilante justice anymore, they're just doing fucking crime.
Yeah.
Absolute stinky poo-poo shitty garbage. And, like, everyone stands by Dutch because I think they all have that sort of idealized version, like we were talking about earlier, of that, like, copium of, like, oh, whatever, like, we'll get back to it, but, like, we're not getting back to it. Like, at a certain point, the group is so big, you're not getting back to it. It's not like he's like, hey, you know, I want, you know, these people to go out and, like, give whatever you get from, like, these sort of crimes, like, to orphanages or charities or, like, anything. Like, he doesn't sort of have that, like, not all the money needs to go to us escaping, some of it needs to, like, go back to the people that we're hurting. And, like, I think it's only Low Honor, but I could be wrong. Sometimes if you kill enough people, a widow will come up to you and be like, you killed my husband, and, like, I know it was you, and, like, I hope you're happy with yourself, and, like, kind of shit on Arthur, and, like, you have the option to be like, damn, that sucks, or to be like, and I'll fucking do it again. But I think that because we see that, like, Arthur and Charles, and occasionally John, are sort of the only people who'd, like, even, like, consider the people that, like, they've affected, and, like, you can sort of see that, like, as it goes on, like, they're even, like, it's harder to sort of be concerned about the people that they care about. Like, you can see that, like, to at least some degree, John, like, cares about people and, like, wants to help them, even if he's a turd about it, and, like, Arthur especially, like, all the side quests he goes on to, like, do better and, like, be a good person, and I think that, like, Dutch doesn't do that. Like, granted, he does have his name and face are everywhere, so, like, it's understandable why he wouldn't do it. But, like, it's not like he sends people out. Like, when Sadie gets back, he's not like, hey, go help, you know, women in need kind of thing. Like, he doesn't send people out to, like, go help people. He, like, chapter 1 is the only time he does that, when he tells, I think Hosea to go send somebody out to, like, properly bury, Sadie's husband, because he's like, he's a good guy, he deserves it, we shouldn't be, like, so shitty. And I think that because as it progresses, he just, like, forgets to help the little guy that he's supposed to be helping. And, like, that was the whole point of, like, their, like, anti-government stance is, like, they don't help people. But it's like, bitch, you're not helping anybody either. Like, be so for real right now.
Yeah.
Look at this funky man. Look at him go.
I'm so distracted by this gorilla right now.
He does have just a fucking powerful aura to him. Alright, chapter 4. Do you like these memes I collected?
Is Jamie ever coming back?
Should we just, like, wait for him a second? Hold on. Because now I realize that it's not gonna show up, we gotta go back. That took me so long to do. I'm still upset about it. Alright, we're gonna play some fucking pinball while we wait. I'm on the spot for all of them. He gets none of my answer. He has to free ball it. These noises are so overly noises. Hell yeah! Oh! That hurt. No! I'm sorry. This is outrageous. It's a Northern Lights reindeer, first of all, fuck you. Like how much birthday cake I have.
Not as much cake as I had today. Then my director had to cut me off.
That's so funny. Let's go gem hunting.
Good luck finding a gem today.
I love Artifact. Does he know that he's precious to me?
Yeah, it was crazy. I had so many pieces of cake that day that my 61-year-old music director was like, alright, that's enough, and then physically restrained me from getting more cake.
Let's get this one. Yes! Oh, I already have this. I have a lot of these.
Looks like you found yourself a gem. You can keep that gem.
I've never gotten a Crown of Wonder, and I'm pissed off about it.
The top tier entertainment.
What the fuck? It didn't let me jump! What the fuck? I'm pressing the up button. What?
So bad at this.
I was pressing the button! It just didn't go! Okay, I can do this.
Webkins videos, I watch those.
pissed off now. Okay, so I want it to be real fast.
So they're making Webkins videos?
I'm not gonna make just fucking Webkins videos.
No, just like mix them in every now and again.
No, I already have my mix it in every now and again game, and it's my fucking Star Wars game. Oh, this is not gonna be right. Oh shit, that's pretty close. That looks good.
Now that looks wonderful.
Like, you're trusting me to get your mail? That's kind of rude.
Comment! Comment! Boots!
Congratulations! You've got yourself a comet!
Damn, do you want to stop spinning?
No.
What the fuck? Holy shit, that was crazy. That just kept going. Out fucking rages. $15? Are you kidding me? Oh, I got one more. Okay, well, it's looking like I'm only gonna get 15 today. Alright, we gotta go play Spree, head to the mall.
I'm gonna make it.
You can make it! We're almost there!
I cannot. Oh, maybe I can. I don't know. Do I need that really fuck up, though?
He fucking- I concur, he better. Oh god! Oh god, Minecraft launcher! My computer is so upset right now. Yay! I'm about to start fucking crashing out. Are you kidding me? What?! Do you appreciate the memes?
I do. I really do.
That's what be their kids see their kids be like, is anyone gonna emotionally damage that and not wait for an answer? Here's the meme. It's a little bit less intimidating, hopefully. Hold on, I forgot. Oh, we're doing chapter 4. Okay, I forgot where we were. Dutch starts yammering on about more about faith. Who do you think does and doesn't have faith? Or I guess more likely, do you think there's anyone that specifically at this point doesn't have faith? This is at Shady Bell. This is at the abandoned house.
I don't know. That's weird.
Do you want me to carry on this one?
Yes,
I can carry. I got you. I think for the most part, I think most of the group at least has faith. I think Abigail sometimes doesn't. Molly hardcore doesn't, but I think that's just because she hates Dutch. But I think that what we see is most people have faith. They just think that the plans that he does are sort of either like needlessly reckless or just sort of generally not good. Or just like not sort of considering other options, I think. And I think that he sort of takes faith as just sort of blind loyalty as opposed to sort of seeing it as like, if people weren't calling him on it, I feel like he would want to be more concerned because it's like, not every idea is a banger. Like, sometimes they're just not that good, and I think that, like, if you assume that the only reason that people don't agree with you is because they don't, like, believe in what you see, I think you're not open to, like, being wrong. Because peace and love to this man, he has the biggest fucking ego you ever did see, and I think that, like, he sort of forgets that, like, the other group has also experience with like robbing things and like doing shit, and I think that like he just kind of assumes that like everyone's against me as opposed to like they have experience and they like see these other things when they're out and about, and I think that like he just assumes that like any negativity is like hate as opposed to like trying to improve, and I think that he just does not collaborate well.
Yeah, like he thinks it's all in his hat on It's not like anything constructive. It's just, oh, it's an attack.
Yeah, no, literally. And, like, whenever, like, he's more willing to take shit from Hosea, and I think that, like, especially as we see, it like, doesn't always go well, but I think that in him sort of refusing to see that, like, people other than Hosea are also allowed to criticize him, because, like, Hosea and Arthur have been through, like, the majority of his plans with, like, the group, and I think that Hosea sort of being like, I don't know, this is a good idea, like, I'm not really sure about this. Like, in chapter 1, he just kind of brushes off Hosea, and he's like, this fucking guy, and, like, he kind of forgets that, like, the reason that they, like, work together is because they have similar ideas, but that doesn't mean they have the same ones. Like, fun little lore bit, is that, they met, I think, oh, no, I actually do this one. They met in Kettering, Ohio, just out and about, and they both robbed each other, and when they realized that, they were like, you're pretty funny, do you want to, like, hang out more socially? And that was sort of how the group started, was because they robbed each other, and I think that, like, at least for that, and then they sort of picked up Arthur and, like, you know, collected everyone else, and I think that he is willing to, like, see Hosea and be like, okay, maybe he has ideas, but, like, whenever Hosea isn't, like, giving him directly, like, here's another thing to do, I think Dutch just kind of goes, meh, and then just assumes that, like, it's... Is that Xavier? No, that's Jamie.
It is. I've been
Jamie on the shame block. Shame! Okay, Jamie, we're making you do the questions that you missed. I'm sorry. Someone said that the police were tipped off to the train robbery. Who do you think are the suspects in your heart? You can do one-word answers. You can just name things if you don't feel like answering more. Did you say cowboys?
It is. Cowboy was the suspect.
Which cowboy do you think is your suspect?
The cowboy.
Who's the cowboy?
The cowboy. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't. Dutch says he's choosing to not participate correctly, and we have to keep moving, otherwise we're never gonna get anywhere. Dutch says Arthur is more than a son to him, but doesn't look for him when he's captured. Why do you think that is?
Because he's all talk.
So real.
He loves good talk. He loves good speech.
Dude, he's so good at speeches. He should be a motivational speaker instead of an outlaw. Micah is seen to be much more heartless in this chapter. It's theorized he planned to take Dutch down from the beginning. What are your thoughts?
I'd say it's definitely possible. You know, like, anytime you have a leader, right, there will be people plotting against the leader. Ow, I just ran into
Are you just... Jamie, I would like to call what?
I just ran into a calendar.
Okay, there's a lot that just happened. There's a lot to take in. Battle of Shady Bell. Milton gives a little speech. Do you want me to read it to you again? Olivia, do you want to...
Yes.
We're not doing voices except for Dutch.
Wait,
I
can
want to hear his voice.
What?
Wait, Olivia, can you do the voice?
Olivia, do you want to do Dutch's voice?
Are you gonna read the parts and I'll read the blue parts?
Okay, you get to be Dutch now. I don't know if you're aware of this. This is civilized land now. We didn't kill all them savages. Still racist. Only to allow the likes of you to act like human dignity and basic decency was outmoded or not yet invented. The thing is, or this thing, it's done.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized. This man so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found only appetite.
And as a consequence that lets you take what you please, kill whom you please, and hang the rest of us, who made you the messiah to these lost souls you've led so horribly astray?
I'm nothing but a seeker, Mr. Milton.
Holy shit! Okay. Damn it, Jamie! You ain't much of anything more than a killer, Mr. Vanderlyn, but I came to you to make a deal. It's time. You come with me, and I give the rest of you 3 days to run off, disappear and go live like human beings someplace else. I don't want to kill all these folk, Dutch, just you. So I guess the question is Milton right, Jamie? Do you think?
Oh man. Well, I think he's definitely right in calling out some of the like I feel like also ego and stuff that Dutch has. He calls him who made you the Messiah?
Yeah, get his ass. Get his ass, Jamie.
Yeah, that's a crazy like that's a very strong opinion that this person's putting forth.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like a little bit of a echoing the end of the era of the cowboy. He even mentions this is a civilized land now, and it really reads as someone saying farewell and saying, in order to move on, people like you, things like you have to die.
Real shit, Jamie. Fucking hell yeah. Alright. We've only done one question of chapter 4, but I'll give you a second to look at these funny memes that I've collected from Google. Dutch starts yammering on more about faith at this point. Who do you think does and doesn't have faith? The answer that you missed was, I think at this point, really, Hosea's starting to get shaky, but I don't think he's willing to, like, say it yet. And I think everyone is still trying to, like, help him, but Dutch is fucking crazy. And I think the only people who really start questioning him are Molly, because she fucking hates him. And I think she just, in general, has lost all sort of faith in general. And then I think that John is getting a little bit shaky after his son gets kidnapped. And Abigail's just kind of been a little bit shaky since, also her son, and also just Dutch being Dutch.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. I feel like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a pretty obvious part of the story is, people fall more out of touch with what Dutch is doing and, all of his actions and stuff. And I feel like he really tries to push for everyone just to accept, just trust him. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, right? Like, and he really, and honestly, it's kind of interesting, given the previous mentions comparing him to like a messiah, that he does have like such a thing with faith and whatnot. And I think it's also interesting that everyone else, I feel like, definitely is losing faith.
Oh, let's go! Let's go! You also talked about the God complex. Let's go!
Until this, I never realized how many references and insinuations.
Oh yeah, no, religion's like a huge fucking thing. It's crazy. It's great. Anyway, in the mission where Sean dies, Micah, gets mad at Arthur for getting mad at them, and being like, hold on, let me pull up the exact quote to read to you guys. Okay, are we in chapter 4? Yeah, we're in chapter 4. I don't know why I put this question here, but you know what? We live and we learn.
Go easy on him, Morgan. He was trying to find a lead, same as you, same as Hosea. All you do is complain when things don't work out, except when it's your own goddamn fault.
And then Arthur says,
you don't know what you're talking about. You don't give a damn about nobody but yourself.
Which, like, also true, but is Micah correct? Do we think that Arthur does not take responsibility when his things go to shit?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like there was, I don't know, some instances, especially near the beginning, but as his character developed, I feel like he started taking responsibility more, I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you could almost say that at the beginning, Dutch and Arthur, had a lot of similarities in that regard, but as the story goes on, Arthur definitely matures. Dutch never does. And I feel like at this point in the story, I would say Arthur is starting to take responsibilities, and whatnot. And so while what Micah says may have been true, I don't think at this point in time it was strictly 100% accurate.
Fair enough, fair enough. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, especially I think later. I think he definitely is more willing to take responsibility, but I think also towards the beginning, even though he is still kind of Dutch's right-hand man, I still don't know if necessarily he has enough sort of planning responsibility to like have things go to shit. Like he does help Bill set up the explosives that don't work, and it's like, could that have been his fault? Possibly, but like it's one of those things of like there are times when he kind of does push the blame on like his smaller bits, but like for the most part, or if in pouring forth oil you don't go get the wagon in time, because like after a certain amount of time John just gets it himself, but he does, like, when that happens, John's like, hey, did you forget to go do something? And he's like, I'm really sorry, like, I just did not have time. And John's like, yeah, whatever, fuck you, I got it anyway. But I think for the most part, like, when he does fuck up, I think he is a little bit more willing to be like, Mabi. Yeah. But, like, I think that he could take more responsibility. Like, he does later take a little bit more, like, especially, like, when he rescues John, he's like, yeah, I did this. And then Dutch is like, well, what about when the law comes? And he's like, damn, I guess we'll figure it out, won't we? And, like, I think he is more willing to, like, take it later as he kind of is a more solid hand in everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. The final question for this one, unless you guys have other questions, you are allowed to toss those in at any point. Do you think killing Bronte was a good idea? If for a refresher, in case you forget, after kidnapping John's kid and then the shit show that was the trolley incident, Dutch convinces himself that he needs to go kill Bronte to make sure that the bank job goes well, because he's like, he owns this goddamn town. And he's convinced that if he kills Bronte, that it'll make the bank job easier. But do we think that was actually true, or do we think that was a bad idea?
I mean, I feel like just killing in general is probably a bad idea.
Unless Micah, we can kill Micah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, don't worry, that will happen. Trust the process, Olivia. For everyone watching, I told Olivia that Micah does die as a promise because she was losing hope, and I needed to reel her back in.
Yeah, I feel like rather than try to like come up with any alternate strategies, it seems like there was kind of just this like, oh, Bronte's in our way, therefore kill.
Yeah, no, cause like,
yeah, why is the question.
Yeah, cause during the question, or like not the question, the mission where Arthur and John go and investigate the whatever the fuck is happening at the cemetery, and like I think it was, I don't have the quote in there, but someone was talking about how like Bronte kind of like owns the entire city, and because I think they were trying to figure out if they needed to go tell Bronte that like they had finished it, but they were like, I think he's kind of got eyes and ears everywhere. And I think because of how often we see in the newspaper he's sort of implicated in crimes, I think that they honestly could have gotten away with just sort of scaring him, as opposed to outright killing him, or like some sort of other way to do it, because we see that like the mayor is also corrupt, and then as Arthur, we killed the mayor, let's fucking get his ass. Or I guess we more just spared Lemieux, who was his assistant, and then became the mayor. But I think that because like there was the I mean, I guess you would have to have made it required to like do the Lemieux storyline, but I think that because like Bronte and the mayor are like so close, I think you would be able to like make a case for like there were other ways to do it. Like,
yeah,
there were other ways to sort of take down Bronte in a way that would have sort of helped them in a way that wouldn't have, because we're gonna talk about this more in the next section, I think, or maybe it's the one after, but like Dutch, in his stupid revenge plans, doesn't consider that, like, there is good reason to keep around people that you dislike. You know, like the saying goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because, like, if you get rid of them, you don't have something to sort of protect yourself and, like, keep a distraction. Like, in Chapter 6, Dutch is like, oh, we just need to, like, make more noise, but it's like, you had noise and you kept fucking shutting it off. Like, you could have had Bronte, you know, keeping up his thing and just, like, sort of keeping him in check some way. You could have had Colm doing his thing and that would have kept the law on him. You could have had Cornwall alive and that would have kept some stuff, you know, off to the side. And, like, by keeping everything around, you still have the ability to, like, hide behind it, as opposed to, like, involving yourself in more situations and just kind of fucking imploding.
To that decision.
Yeah, no, he really kind of just, like, decided it and was like, alright, let's go. I got a boat.
And then when questioned, he brings up faith again.
Yeah, no, he's like, you just don't get it. And then, like, when Arthur's like, yeah, because actually in that mission where Dutch is yelling at Arthur, being like, you just don't see my visions. If you go the, like, max speed, it cuts off the bit, the bit where Dutch talks about how, or, like, where Arthur's like, that's not fair. Like, I've been here the whole time. I'm still here. Like, what are you talking about? And Dutch kind of has that, like, realization of, like, he is still here. He is still trying to help. Like, he doesn't agree, but he's still doing it. And he has that, like, I'm sorry, I'm just, like, worn down. It's just too much. And, like, you can kind of see Arthur be like, hey, dipshit, what are you talking about? Like, I'm right here. Like, if I didn't believe in you, why would I still be here? And I think that, like, for at least just, like, a brief second, he gets that, like, Arthur cares. He's just trying to, like, help him not fuck him all over.
Just for a brief second.
Yeah, then it goes away, because then it goes back to bitching. Chapter 5! I picked this, I kept the default picture of these two people camping, because it just kind of felt right. Okay.
We be camping.
They do be camping. Oh yeah! Okay, so this is Guarma, and a little bit after Guarma. So here are the questies that I got for you guys. In the caves with the old woman, Dutch says that he is suspicious that John was only captured and Abigail was able to sneak away. However, Lenny and Hosea both were killed. Why do you think they didn't kill John? Do you guys want me to take the lead here?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the reason they killed Hosea was more because they were trying to show Dutch that, like, because Milton was talking about how he's like, I've tried making deals with you and you're not being fucking reasonable. And Dutch is like, come on, make another deal. Let's see how this one goes. Maybe another deal will work it out. And, like, I think by seeing that Milton still holds some level of, like, strength over Dutch and is like, look, I can kill this man in broad fucking daylight and no one's gonna stop me. And, like, not even you can stop me. Like, what are you gonna do? And I think that by sort of asserting himself, because Hosea is known to be, like, one of the top dogs, and, like, you know, him and Dutch have such an extended history together, I think by being like, look, I can kill your right-hand man, not a single fucking person will do a damn thing about it. It's very much a, like, fuck you, like, you've lost sort of thing. And I think Lenny was just, like, genuinely, like, not sort of planned out. I think that was just, like, we're trying to kill any of the group up there. I don't think that was, like, we're gonna go kill Lenny. I think that was just, he was there, he was in the way kind of thing.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. But I think that they didn't kill John because although he is as known in the, like, to be in the group, to my knowledge, he isn't as big a figurehead. He's just kind of always one of the guys that's there. And I think that they just know that, like, he is sort of bait to get them back. Like, they had kidnapped Sean, and they said that the plan was to, like, trial him publicly and kind of make a show of it, and I think that they wanted to do that with John because, peace and love to John, not the smartest boy ever. He is not the bright boy. And I think that by sort of just kidnapping him, and I think Hosea probably sacrificed himself so Abigail could get away because they were close, and I don't think that, at least at that point, Abigail or John would do something to risk him because Abigail cares about him John is just kind of like whatever, but like I don't think he would do anything to sacrifice Hosea. But because Abigail saw Hosea as a sort of father figure, I think he just kind of would sacrifice himself for her, and I think John would be stupid and get captured. And then they just wanted to use him as an example because although he is still dangerous, he's not very bright, and I think they know he's not very bright, and they're like, if we hold on to him, they're either going to try to get him out, and we'll be able to get them then, or we're going to be able to just get his ass publicly and make a show of it, to make sure that people see that, like, you can't act like this.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. Actually, leverage and sending a message probably runs throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely a powerful thing to be like, we killed this person, and we didn't kill this person. Think of what we have in store for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, like, to scare the other gangs and being like, look, if we catch one of your guys, look what you guys are fucking stuck with. Because I don't think the plan was to get John to talk. I think it was just to, like, make a show of it. Like, here's a Vanderlyn boy on trial. Go fuck yourself. Look what we can do.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes a lot of sense to me. And I mean, realistically, it's a good tactic.
Yeah.
Because, that means that no matter who they come across, you always in the back of your mind are like, are they actually going to kill you? Are they not? What's going to happen? And that uncertainty definitely breeds fear.
Hell yeah. Also, fun fact, because while researching the original document, I looked into this. Different theory is that also Blackwater might have been a setup because the law, came onto them pretty quickly. But at the time, historically, they were actually having boats that were setups specifically to catch gangs, and I think that they might have sort of anticipated because Bronte dying looks really bad. Like, not even just for, like, the general Saint Denis vibe because he's kind of like the dude. It looks bad because it's like, why did one of the super big sort of villains of the town sort of just mysteriously die? And I think that sort of they were more suspicious and being like, okay, if we know that the Vanderlyns are in the area and we know Bronte's dead, where are they going to go next? They're going to get money. And I think that they probably were like, yeah, let's fucking set these bitches up. Because, if we can do it once, we can do it twice.
True. That's true.
Alright, number 2! We find out later Micah starts ratting out, when they return. However, Molly says that she is a rat. From this point forward, do you notice any clues anywhere, where Micah sort of implicitly starts making himself look more like a rat?
I don't know, just the fact, I feel like, again, he's always, like, trying to start something, or he's, like, off talking to someone, or, I don't know, like, I think he just acts suspicious.
He
but
does.
I actually don't like Micah. So,
That too.
It's true, he's a suspicious kind of guy.
I think
he's always doing something that's, like, could be seen as suspicious, I guess.
I also think that a lot of the times, like, whenever he gets, like, really concerned about there being a rat immediately. Like, when, everything goes to shit, when they first get back, and, Bill's like, I couldn't find any of you motherfuckers! I had to ask everybody! And then, like, 10 minutes, like, not even 10 minutes later, up show the Pinkertons, and then Micah's like, oh, you asked everybody you could? And then when they're sort of debriefing, he kind of starts, like, hyping up Dutch and being like, you're so good, I love you, and just kind of, like, kissing even more ass than was previously thought possible. And then in Just a Social Call, he says, finally putting that bastard Cornwall out of business for good. Me, I'm just following orders, Morgan. And, like, you can kind of see he's like, Dutch wanted to do it, so I'm gonna do it. And, like, I think it's kind of the way that he just immediately goes, I'm Dutch's favorite, I'm his favorite boy, and, like, really leans into it, is, like, fucking crazy.
So annoying.
Yeah, no.
Right there.
Deep annoyance.
Like, he really just is constant, like, Dutch, you should do the stupidest thing ever. Like, at the end, Arthur says, Dutch, think. And then Micah goes, Dutch, be practical now. Oh! And, like, it's kind of obvious. It's like, if Dutch thinks about it for too long, he's gonna see that, like, who was the one saying there's a rat? Micah. Who was the one trying to imply that, like, his two best boys were the problem? Micah. And, like, in trying to, like, say, like, oh, he's, like, just be practical. He's, like, trying to say, like, don't think about that. Think about what we can do in the future. We can be best friends and do so many good things, and it'll be great. Even though he's, like, you know, turning him against his two adoptive sons. Yeah, crazy shit.
That is. It is.
Yeah.
Also because I think that, Micah was the rat in the earlier question, that Jamie just answered, the cowboy. For reasons that Jamie will have to just wait for this video to come out to see. Get got it. Alrighty, number 3, that I forgot to remove the part where it says step. We're gonna leave. Yeah, exactly. Hold on, we have a, hold on, where is it? There it is. The way it's also, like, really quiet. Alright, so after Arthur gets diagnosed with TB, he has that, like, walk around town, sort of, like, not in it to win it, where he's sort of, like, processing, like, that he's gonna die kind of soon, sooner than he'd like to. However, he only tells people either, like, oh, I'm sick, or, like, he doesn't really talk about anything. Like, he only tells, really, Charles that he's gonna die. And everyone else, he just kind of lets him figure it out, but he doesn't really say anything. Why do we think he doesn't tell the group that he's dying?
Well, I think it could be, they're no longer quite the family that they used to be. He's not quite as trusting, perhaps.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that.
Not ready to be as vulnerable with them.
Yeah, and I think especially after that god-awful mission where they get the horses back for the natives, and then Dutch goes, oh, he needs to rest, and it's like, it, like, hurts to hear, of him being like, Arthur, like, wanting to, like, help out the natives, but then Dutch being like, oh, Arthur needs to rest, and it's like, fuck you, and, like, I think seeing truly that, like, Dutch just doesn't give a shit if he lives or dies at a certain point, to the point that he straight up just almost lets him die, like, I think just sort of seeing that, like, Dutch really doesn't care about him anymore, and, like, most of the group kind of has decided that because he cares about John, that, like, he's also guilty, and I think that just kind of the, like, guilty by proxy, and, like, oh, if you're defending John, what else are you doing? And it's like, he's just running around the woods having fun with people. Like, that's all he does. That's all this man ever does, is just run around and go on adventures. God forbid.
Me for real.
Yeah, like, what, can a man not run around the woods and have fun anymore? Is that a crime? And I think that he knows that, like, I think he kind of cornered himself with Charles, because, like, Charles has always cared about him, whereas, like, with Sadie, like, he doesn't need to tell her, hey, I'm gonna die, because I think she's kind of just, like, they're both sort of in it, but their heart isn't in it, like, they're like, this is just who I am now, but, like, who even am I anymore, kind of thing, and, like, I think that for that, he's like, yeah, you guys will just kind of see it, but, like, he could just be like, hey, Dutch, I'm fucking dying, and, like, I think that Dutch would be like, damn, maybe you should go off and die in the woods alone then, you piece of shit, and, like, I guess also he might not want to be seen as, like, weak, because he is still kind of the workhorse that Dutch sends out to do random dangerous shit, because he kind of wants him to die, even though he doesn't want to admit to that part, but, like, I think that, like, he just doesn't want to, you know, treat Arthur good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Alright. Chapter 6. The least fun of the chapters.
This chapter makes me sad.
It really does. It just never gets good. Do you guys like this default thing I found? I made the minutes say 69.
Where? Oh.
Oh my god.
Thank you. I don't know what that orb is, but it was kind of cool, so that's why I picked it.
I'm assuming it's a representation of infinite energy.
It is not. This was like a default for like a meeting presentation. I don't know what the planet core has to do with that. This was supposed to be like a open discussion one. That's why I picked it, and then I put the 69 there because it's a funny number. Alright, so the first question I have is Arthur only talks about his son in this chapter. It's assumed the gang does not know about Isaac, but they do know about, what's her face. But it's kind of assumed that, like Isaac and Eliza were before that. What parallels do we see between Arthur and Isaac and Dutch and Arthur? Because I found some in my heart. And if you want me to go first, I can absolutely do that. As this was my... Okay, so the main one that I saw was that, like, Arthur did care about his kid, but he wasn't really able to be there for reasons that were sort of external to him, and he didn't really take that sort of, like, father step, until sort of after Isaac died. He sort of realized, like, oh, I was a terrible parent, and, like, I should have been there, and I should have done more, and I didn't. Whereas Dutch sort of was kind of a better father for Arthur, up until Micah shows up, and then we see him sort of stop sort of prioritizing him and John, and, like, especially at the end, like, Dutch is watching Arthur die, and him being like, John, or like, he's like, Micah's the rat, and every ending he's like desperately trying to get Dutch to listen to him, and I think Dutch is just not listening, and I think it's not because he's like, oh, this guy's wrong. I think it's like he's seeing, like, my son is dying in front of me, and I listened to the guy that killed him, and, like, there is nothing I can do now to, like, make this right, and, like, even if I think he's right, what am I gonna do about this? Like, there's nothing I can do to fix what I've done, and, like, he just kind of sees that, like, everyone in his life is now dead that he cares about, and that, like, the only person that he thought cared about him was using him the whole time. And I think that, while not explicitly the same, like, we kind of see that, like, they cared when it was too late to care, and, like, when, like, the kid needed them, he wasn't there. Like, there wasn't the father figure they needed.
It's a lot of trauma.
Yeah, no, it's pretty shitty. Vibes, do we think Dutch would have let John die either in prison or any other way?
That depends. You see, yeah, I feel like he would have let him, unless there was some reason that it might benefit him otherwise. At least that's how I feel.
Hell yeah, preach it, sister. Olivia, you got any thoughts, or are you asleep? Olivia, are you dead? Are you here? Olivia? Hello?
My bad.
Sorry.
Not me.
Have you any thoughts on the questions so far?
Let's see.
We're on question 2 if you got lost.
No, I was just frazzled. I, like, somehow muted myself on accident.
And then you were going, oh fuck! Yeah, no, we couldn't hear you, but, do you think Dutch would have let John die?
Oh. I did hear what Xavier was saying. I do kind of agree with that. Like,
Let's go.
I guess it really depends. I don't know. Like, a hard question.
Do you think Dutch would have ever tried to get John out of prison? I
feel
guess.
like if the reason for him to, he would have. I don't think he would have absolutely gone out of his way to do it, but, like, if, you know, there was a reason that, you know, he really could, like, then yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really funny that Dutch is like, yeah, you guys gotta go get Sean, and they're like, cool, no problem. And then Dutch is like, John or Arthur, you gotta go get Micah, and Arthur's like, oh, I don't wanna. And then he goes and gets Sean, and he's like, how fucking dare you get my other kid? I hate that guy.
I hate that guy.
All right, here's the question I referenced earlier. Dutch wants Colm to die, and in the newspaper they mention, hold on, let me just read it what it says. Let me get there. But it says, on outlaw gangs, we must stop them. Gangs such as the O'Driscolls have been hunted to the brink of extinction. Officials now have their sights on the Dutch Vanderlyn gang. And we see that, yum. That in the earlier one they mentioned that the gang of thieves is believed to be thinning in numbers as internal squabbles and gunfights with the law have taken out several members.
That's so.
It is so. And that they had sort of been hunting Colm O'Driscoll. Do we think Dutch made any other wrong calls? Or specifically ones that specifically were so bad they actively made every single thing worse from Dutch? In terms of his plan to make noise, or earlier plans as well?
Yeah, I don't really understand the make noise plan.
Okay, so here's from what I've seen, the plan was to cause so much trouble that I think he was hoping the government wouldn't realize it was all them. But I think the plan was to cause issues like with the natives and like all this other stuff and like make it so that way they kind of had to spread themselves thin to like track them down. But he didn't really account for the fact that the government didn't really have anyone else to blame except him. Because they knew where they were, obviously. So like, all he kind of did was just make himself really visible. But the plan was to like blow up the train and like fuck with the army and like piss off the natives and like just cause everyone to be so riled up that they're all infighting so much that they can slip away as if the group is small and this is an easy task and not like something incredibly stupid.
Yeah, I feel like Dutch might have been stuck in the past a little bit.
Yeah, no, he really thought that, like, he was still some, like, underground guy and not literally the number one dude they were hunting.
Yeah.
Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I think definitely killing Colm was a bad choice. Like, I understand that, like, the plan was, oh, that way financially he can't keep supporting him, but, like, does Dutch think that the only person running that company is Cornwall himself? Does he think that there is no investors and beneficiaries and CFOs and CEOs and all that other shit? Like, does he think that, like, no one else is involved? Like, killing Fusar made a little bit of sense because he was kind of in charge of that whole operation and it was very much militaristic and nobody really liked Fusar, but, like, Cornwall was like an empire. Like, there was more than just him.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it almost makes you think that maybe it was like a convenience or like he saw an opportunity to like have tried to make an excuse for it to kill him and to take him out, just because out of purely reasons of his own, rather than the good of the rest of the gang.
Yeah, for shares. So by the end of the game, Dutch has truly gone off the rails. In what other ways that we've not talked about did you notice his decline?
Oh my goodness.
I was gonna say that's a big one there.
Yeah, this is just like in general, if you are like thinking of like a moment where you were like, oh, Dutch, this is a stupid plan and you are a stupid man and you have a stupid fan and a stupid clan. I'm just thinking of words that rhyme with "and" at this point.
Yeah.
I think most everything Dutch does is a little bit stupid because he fundamentally is just a stupid person, I think.
It's true.
You don't know what's going on. thinks he does.
He really does. He's convinced that if he just says that he knows what's going on, he'll just know what's going on.
That's true.
I feel him.
You're just supposed to have faith. Just supposed to have faith.
Oh, you're so right, Jamie.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, my rabbit's coming to join us. Do you have any input? No, you got nothing to say? But back to locking back in. I think there's just like a lot of really stupid plans he has. Like, I think that he realistically could have sent out like Sadie and Trelawney to go and sort of get the money from Blackwater, because Sadie was not entirely known, especially like before sort of everything kind of went to shit, as part of the Vanderlyn gang, because she was captured, like she was kind of recruited after the Blackwater incident. So I think that she honestly, when they got her, they could have sent her out to go get the money. And I think that sort of maybe they could have even sent Kieran, like, even though he was, because he wasn't as wanted, but because like he wasn't recognized as part of the gang by sort of anybody because he was never really taken out. I think that like they kind of really could have gone back for the money repeatedly, and then they just chose not to. Hi, Rabbit, have you decided to come back?
Yeah, no, that's true. I've thought about that. That is probably, it definitely feels like definitely a choice, personally.
Yeah, because like towards the beginning it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like, obviously it's too hot, but like once Sadie has kind of established herself as like able to handle herself, it would make sense for her to go into town because no one there is going to know her. Like, she wasn't there. It's not like anyone can be like, I saw that girl at the Blackwater Massacre. I was there. I saw this. And I think that by not using that resource, they're kind of pulling a classic Dutch Vanderlyn of doing the stupidest thing possible, and truly just not using any percentage of their brain.
Yeah. Yeah, not using a percentage of their brain is kind of the best way to describe them.
Yeah.
You know, actually, you could put it this way. Alright. So, I think earlier it was mentioned that Dutch definitely is irresponsible, but that's not true at all. He's actually the most responsible in the entire group. Anytime anything bad happens, Dutch is responsible.
You know what? Preach it, sister. Preach it, sister. Yeah, no, he kind of is responsible for like most bad things in the world.
Yeah.
He caused Hurricane Katrina.
He caused COVID.
He caused 9/11.
Oh,
He definitely did.
He started World War II.
He
and
definitely did. Hey, Rabbit, can you just leave it alone, please? Okay, you're just having fun, but you better not touch any cables or I'm gonna kill you. Alright, do you guys have anything else that you enjoyed about the game, or just in general that you want to discuss, or questions?
Man, I mostly am just always amazed with the amount of detail in that game.
Preach it,
The
sister.
subtle nuances of like interactions, world building through like various like story elements, but also even just things out in the environment. Such an amazing and well done like experience.
It truly is. Olivia, do you have anything?
I do, yeah. Like, I love how just complex, especially like the storyline is like well thought out and like complex. Like, especially I feel like I need to go back through and like watch all of the videos again and just see like what I see now that I've like gone through the game once.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy going back through it and like seeing how much foreshadowing there was.
Yeah, and it's like it's not haphazardly thrown together. I'm not saying that like a lot of games are, but a lot of games are. And I feel like it's like there's a connection for like everything here. Everything was thought out. There's not like stuff that's like lost, I guess. Like just the detail of it is like absolutely amazing. Like it's insane. Like I can't believe it. Like,
Do you want to know one of my favorite moments that I didn't get because I'm a stupid person? Hold on, let me find it.
That was absolutely delicious, my dear. Thank you. Well, I think toast is in order, don't you? Here, let's fill that water glass, Tarkin. It's unlucky to cheers on an empty glass. Okay. To the Trelawneys. It's good to be home.
Trelawney, that's you in there.
Arthur? What on earth are you doing here? I can't speak now. Sorry. Can we catch up in the office on Monday? Let's adjourn to the parlor, my dear. Not a moment's peace.
Yeah, and then if you go back to camp, he's like, hey, can we just, like, not talk about what happened in Saint Denis?
Final notes. I can't think of anything to note.
Me either.
Yeah, except for the notes that were noted to note of the note.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna blow this man up. Anyway, alright, see you guys later. The old lady wants you to subscribe, even though Xavier wasn't here.
We also want you to subscribe.
We also want
Yeah.
you to subscribe. Subscribe to us, because we were here, and Xavier was not.